Well, hello and welcome, folks, to MX5 Global Racing League Cup Challenge. I said that a little bit backwards. It is Global Racing League MX5 Cup Challenge. Welcome to our final race of this season. Joined with me in the broadcaster booth once again, our very own Dan McFarlane. How's it going?
Hello, hello. Good to be here. Happy final round. Great to be here in beautiful Summit Point, West Virginia.
Yeah, you know what? This is actually a track that me and you had a nice few battles at. Lovely, lovely track. Right now, heavily requested to get a single lap from the cockpit view. What does it look like to drive a single lap? So here we are. This is with Trevor Houston, who's currently P2. Let's see if the lap that we're following along with is going to put him on pole or not. Of course, you get 4 laps of qualifying, and it looks like it did not put him into pole. So, with that, we're gonna just hit some TV cameras, and let's actually talk a little bit about our season championships, which will be, I think, is now finalized.
Yeah, it was wrapped up by Andres Navarro last weekend at last time out at Okayama. Andres Navarro has clinched the Pro Division Championship. Congratulations to him. Very well done. Very difficult to win in this car, and even better, he was able to clinch it with a whole race left to go. So, congratulations, Andres. Well, very, very well done.
Absolutely. There's some people who are also newer in this league. Is Parvinder? Can you actually double check? I think he is in the Pro Division. I'm gonna need you to double check. I'll be able to change him into the Pro Division um, on our timing tower. But I like that view there, right there. Um, so there's some new people, and I'm sure that if they do actually stick around for our next season, they can give a real good run to Andres Navarra at the very front of the field. Really curious to see if they do that. Some folks such as Trevor Houston, Brian Curing, and actually I'd like to join for the next season. Next season, really cool. Dan, I don't think you've heard. We're actually going to be moving into MX5 and GR86 multi-class racing.
Oh, that's exciting. That's gonna be a great mix of cars. I think, especially with both cars being free, I think you're gonna see a lot of newcomers and old faces alike on the grid. Maybe a little bit less chaotic than your regular PCC, like we hope. But yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
And we haven't fully decided yet, but I think we may actually follow the MX5 Cup, the global MX5 Cup, uh, that schedule and stick with all free tracks, just because then we have every track is free, and it just adds a lot more fun.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about Global Racing League. Everybody uh, can have fun without spending any money and without putting any safety rating or I rating on the line, which I know for a lot of people is definitely a big draw for it for league racing.
And for anyone who watches this back, I'm really curious on your thoughts, and also Dan, you too. We were actually planning to grid the cars based on the lap time that they get, not based on class. So, okay, so if you're in an MX5, it's a little bit of a slower car, but if your qualifying time is faster, you'll actually grid ahead of that GR86 that's slower.
Uh, it's gonna be chaos, but I think I like it. Leave
Exactly.
the class system out the window. It's just whoever's faster, and I kind of like that approach. Makes kind of eliminates the gray area, doesn't it?
It really does, because the back of the GR86 cars are often slower than the front of the MX5. You know what? Make it like a track day. It'll be a race. It'll actually be more like a real in person race that you see on grassroots motorsports out there. I keep saying it, but real life.
Yeah, I agree. I think it makes it maybe a little bit more relaxed atmosphere for some, but also you know gives people the opportunity to kind of more closely emulate. Obviously most of us here probably aren't going to be driving a real MX5 Cup race or a real GT3 race or anytime soon. But hey, for some of us, maybe doing some club racing might be within reach. So might be fun to experience it that way.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't get your simulation rig back until November, so we won't see you in it, I guess. But it'd be nice
You
if
know,
you
I,
could.
I'd love to make an appearance. Once I can.
Absolutely. So we have 9 minutes left in our qualifying session. I would have to take a guess, take a wager at that everyone's finished their qualifying session. We're just waiting for a few more cars. I guess it looks like Franco is still out on the track. I think he's just chilling, just a little bit of a mental prep. It looks like he's following some of these lines. Yeah, he look at that. He's doing his lines out there, trying to get that spot on.
Yeah, great way to get ready for the race. Just because practice is over doesn't mean you can't take a couple extra laps after quali and just make sure the wheels are bolted on tight and your lines are ready to go. This looks like Chris is going to pull over here. Well done to him with the another pole time. That'll put him 120.833 for a pole time, 7 hundredths of a second in front of Brian.
Wow. So then we also have quite a few drivers. So who are the drivers there from P2 to P7, if I'm not mistaken, in the Pro Division that are all just within 16 points of each other? List those off if you can.
Yeah, it's a real tight battle. We have Tom Peters currently sitting in second in pro, but he's chased very closely by Brandon Lynn, Vlad Sanchez, Dylan Larson, Ivan Ho, and Franco Aguirre. All these people have a very real shot of securing P2 in the championship this evening. So, still a lot to play for, Michael.
Absolutely. I'm just adding right there. We go, David Tamira. I'm gonna go with Tamira. Christian Rojas has also just joined our grid, so he'll be starting at the very back of our grid, as you can see right there. Just adding David into our timing tower. On the timing tower is Parvinder Pro. Can you double check on that for me, please?
Yes, Parvinder is pro.
Parvinder is Pro, so we are gonna just quickly change that over. So on the timing tower, you can see who's green and who is white. And for anyone who's new, white is the amateur division. I'm going to pull away that timing tower because it takes up a lot of space. We want to see that racetrack. We want to see that crowd in the background and all of their runs into turn one. But the white was the amateur division. The green is the pro division drivers. So yeah, you qualify by pace. I think that all the cars are now hit the grid. Here we go. Lights are up in the middle of the screen. All 5 lights are lit up.
Flag.
And away they go. And it looks like, and not a very good reaction time for Chris Slim. It's anybody's guess how this is going to go into turn one. It looks like he was able to eventually get the power down. Heading into turn one, Brian Kieran is going to be on the outside. Chris Lim braking real deep. You can see the accordion effect really playing its part as they exit this corner nice and clean.
Yeah, everybody there, nice and smooth, taking it easy. Lap one, here we go. Getting single file for turn 3 here. Nice sweeping left-hander. Don't put a tire in that sand trap. You will lose time. Looks like everybody is getting through there just as they need.
And here
coming
is
down to the hairpin.
Ooh,
And
yeah. Here's going to be where I think all the passing will be happening. There goes, looks like Christian Rojas, Christian Rojas a little bit too deep onto the brake. But I think that's where going to be most of the passing will be taking place is through this section right here. What would you say?
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for passing. If I'm not mistaken, I may have passed you through there at least once or twice.
And then I had to have passed you back. That's the best place to pass. You just poke a nose or get someone a little bit thinking twice, and it's a really great place to pass. Into turn one, this is where the draft is huge. Tone deficit me, someone on Twitch anyway, saying my PC froze. I'm guessing that's David Tamira or Anthony Farmer. I'm not quite sure, but there looks like a pass up the inside. Oh, and a little bit of bumping and bruising between. That looks like Parvinder and Franco Aguirre. A little bit of a bumping and bruising. And Andres Navarro, he has now gained 3 positions, but effectively lost the draft to that very front pack.
Yeah, looks like these three are just sailing away as Brian and Trevor are now really starting to haggle Chris Lim up ahead. They're still streaming down into this hairpin. Oh my goodness. Can we all keep it on the track? Looks like we can. Side by side. This is some great racing.
This is actually just where all the passing is going to be taking place. I think, just as I was saying earlier, there is Anaf Shariar going through the S's at the very front of this pack. There, well, not the front. Andres is at the very front. There is Franco. He's trying to get back in front of Blake Carvery, and he has Brandon Lynn not far behind him. This is really, really intense, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I saw Franco really had the run back there, but wise to back out of it. The penultimate corner, not a place you want to be passing on.
And here we go, Blake Carvery. He's going to be making a pass up on Andres Navarro for P4. And is there an over-under? He parks it on the apex, and oh, what a defense. What? Where? What?
Was that Chris Lim? I think it was Chris Lim facing backwards. Oh.
That was Chris Lim. We're going to have to find out exactly what happened there later. We now have Brian Curran in the lead. This is what is even happening. Let's get a little bit more of a bird's eye view. There's Franco Aguirre. He is trying to fight his way through this traffic, all this battle as well, to get back to where he started. There's Brandon Lynn taking advantage. Oh, a little bit of a contact and a spin by Franco Aguirre. He's just been a little bit tapped out of that corner. Brandon Lynn, a little bit of a hip check. We'll be able to go through a replay of exactly how all of this started in any moment now, but I just can't look away.
Too much action happening right now, and wow, what a shame for Chris and Franco there. They were in great positions and just must have got caught out. As we ride along here with Andres. In the heat of the battle right here is
okay, let's go for the replay real quick. Here we go. This is exactly how it happened. There's Chris Lim on the inside. Oh, just a little.
Got some help there, that's for sure.
Just a little bit of an unfortunate contact, and I think a little bit of a misread between the two drivers as they're battling on who is where. And you know, there's also just the honest truth of how wide is your screen. Some people have triples, some people do not. And even for those who have triples, if they're in that bezel, yeah, you know what? It's a hard one to see, isn't it?
Yeah, you can easily get trapped behind a bezel or just outside of somebody's field of view, depending on, you know, where the FOV police. Oh, as we see a dive up the inside from an off-shariar. Wow, great move there. Parvinder looks like he's on the back foot.
And he's also being challenged by Jonathan Rodriguez. Jonathan Rodriguez not able to make anything happen. There's Vlad Sanchez trying to take advantage of the open doorway. Christian Rojas not far off. This is now going to be a battle between Vlad and Jonathan.
Oh, almost 3 wide there. That was smart. But look at this battle here, man. This is what racing's all about. These MX5 cars just produce such great racing up and down the field.
Oh, especially at Summit Point.
Yeah, this is you know, every iRacer has run MX5 at Summit Point at some point in their racing career. See what I did there?
Oh yeah, this is every iRacer's wet dream. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and there goes. Yeah, there goes Jonathan on Vlad. Sorry. Yeah, there goes Jonathan on Vlad. This is just, these guys they could give each other a hug. They're that close to each other. Absolutely wild. I don't think Christian is going to let Vlad get too far. He wants to make a pass as well. Vlad is up 3 positions total from where he qualified. A little bit further up, we're going to look at Parvinder. He is 4 spots down. Ooh.
Oh, and Jonathan Rodriguez off on the grass there.
Let's just take a quick look exactly how did that happen. Oh, no, wrong one. Here is the replay of how he got off onto the grass, and it's very, oh, that is a very, very late break.
Oh, that's unfortunate for him. Just a mind punt from Vlad, I suppose.
That is a very late break, and I think he just outbraked himself, and there he went. Wow. And I see in the just real quick is in the Twitch chat is Anthony Farmer here is saying that his PC froze. So I do hope he can get back into the race as soon as he can.
Yeah, super heats tonight. We got 2 more races to go, so boot it back up, Anthony. Get back on the grid.
And there we just saw Anaf making a pass on Brandon Lynn into turn 1. Brandon Lynn backing out, not trying to challenge for that position on the outside, just letting him have it. And oh, into the sand. Is that going to bring Brandon right back into action?
That sand trap is deadly, Michael. You definitely want to avoid that sand trap at all costs. That just is throwing away top speed, as we see really catching up on the rear end. There's Brandon Lynn back there. And again, it looks like we are back. A little bit of a tussle for the lead between the teammates.
Yeah, we saw this last week, a little bit of a tussle between the two teammates. And, you know, it's really, really curious, actually, who's going to take home the win. We have minute 20 laps and a lot of draft effect going on here. And you know what? It's basically everyone in a vacuum. You have draft all the way up to about, what, 1.5 seconds, wouldn't you say? So effectively, from P1 to P7, where you got Brandon Lynn being challenged by Parvinder, everyone's very much in contact.
Yeah, the F1 is not the only sport that has a DRS train, let me tell you. These MX5s punch a mighty big hole in the air,
in the
in
atmosphere
comparison to each other. Yeah, small but mighty, especially in the draft here. So, you know, even a second and a half up the road, as you say, that's not quite enough. You're still going to get reeled in from the guy behind.
Absolutely, you can gain about 2 to 3 tenths down that straight if you're lucky. And it looks like Vlad Sanchez with Christian Rojas
up the inside. That's a great place for Vlad to be. Can he capitalize? Ooh, nice respectful racing. Keeping it too wide through here. This is tricky stuff.
You gotta try and you gotta try and put the pedal to the metal as you go through those S's while balancing the rotation. Not too much, just enough so that you're not using too much tire. And here we go. Looks like Christian Rojas trying to throw a little bit of a defensive, don't even think about it, but now that's put Vlad Sanchez right back into the mix ahead of him. Christian Rojas, he's going to try and take advantage of this draft as Barney up in the timing tower, the flag tower, waving the white flag.
Oh, and Chris Lim. Oh my, wow. What a move from Chris there, able to make it stick. I guess not, but quite a long ways back.
Quite a long ways.
Look at that.
I think we saw that. I think we saw that one live. We'll be fine to miss that one for another day. Here we go, battle for the lead. It looks like Trevor Houston up the inside into this hairpin break. Brian Kieran giving up that position. Was he wise to do it as they go through the S's? This is absolutely a place that you can go too wide for quite a long time. These guys have a lot of trust in each other, and you know what? Is it going to bite them? Is it not? Blake Carvery up the inside of Brian. Oh. And here we go.
Inside. Coming up to the line, looks like Trevor Houston's going to take P1, but it's anybody's game for P2. As they drag race to the line, it's going to be Brian just by a hair over Blake. Wow.
That's great racing. Great racing. Andres Navarro in 4th position. And wow, look at Brandon Lynn and Parvinder. Super, super close. There's Christian Rojas. Whoa.
Making the jump. Wow.
Holy.
Will he stick the landing? Oh, not quite.
And there goes his tire. What an amazing race. Wow.
Ooh, deep breath. Wow, that was That was an action-packed 10 minutes there, and to think we have two more.
We have two more. Oh
What's
my!
the you'll have to fill the audience in. What are the rules for our superheats
So
now? There's two.
superheats. This is very specific for the MX5 because the superheats in the other series do actually run slightly different variation on this. For the MX5, we run 10 minutes first heat, 15 minutes second heat with a reverse grid of that top four finishing positions. So now you see Andres Navarro, who finished P4, he is in P1. And then the last heat, the very final and third race, is 15 minutes again with a reverse grid of the top eight.
Oh, so that'll make it real spicy, won't it?
Yeah, so you don't actually get in the other series that we do run 20 minutes for that final heat. Here, we're only doing 15. I guess you didn't know that, did you?
No, that's why I was hoping you'd fill us in as we get ready to go.
Oh, Enough in the blue car. He's going to be going all the way to his left when he starts
Green,
his.
green, green.
Lights are off and away we go. And oh, he figured it out real quick. Car 1, 2, 3, but that is not going to help his run into turn one. That is going to create a massive three-wide situation potentially as we head into turn one with Andres Navarro in the lead, clearly in the lead. A whole bunch of accordion effect going on as we head around the very first corner. I'm going to pull up the timing tower so anyone gained or lost. It looks like Enough actually lost a lot of positions from that.
That's the second week in a row we've had somebody with their wheel facing the wrong direction on the grid. Bit of a shame for him, but hey, we got 15 minutes here. There's plenty of time around Summit Point.
Oh, and Vlad Sanchez, it looks like he was getting real aggressive. Oh, and it looks like Jonathan and
they're
Vlad.
stacking up.
Jonathan and Vlad a little aggressive early on up the inside. Made contact, I think, with, where is it, Jonathan, and then they both end up spinning. So very interesting.
Yeah, it looked like Vlad just got out of the gas a little bit there to help John recover the car and ended up getting rear-ended. No good deed goes unpunished. As somebody's going wide there. Oh my goodness! And the teammates are bump drafting. Do we call this collusion? Look at this.
I don't know. I mean, they're not in the lead of the race. They're not winning this race right now. So call it whatever you want to call it. That's what I think. There goes Brandon Lynn. He is going to have that outside line. Christian Rojas, is he pushing Parvinder through? It looks like he wants to get by Brandon Lynn. Brandon Lynn on the inside. You know what? The inside on this corner is definitely where you want to be. Is Christian Rojas going to be able to make that work? I think he is. A little bit of sand, and he's still got that position off of Brandon Lynn. There is
more two-wide action back here. Franco and
Enough.
And Franco's going to be able to get that move done.
Yeah, Franco did not have a good race that last race. He's up 4 positions from where he started, and he's one of the few drivers trying to challenge for P2 in the season, if I'm not mistaken. So that first race is going to hurt him a lot. Oh, and here goes Brian Curran. He is closer than ever to Blake Carvery. Is Blake Carvery at risk of losing P2? It looks like he is going to be challenged for P2 of this race as they head down that start-finish straight.
Blake's going to have the draft here. Is it going to be enough to keep the position covered? As Blake, last of the late breakers, trying to hold Brian around the outside. And looks like Brian's going to get that move done. And it's also going to open the door for Trevor as Blake slams the door on him.
Is Trevor going to try and take that risk, or is he going to wait for it and watch his teammate drive off into the distance? That's a toughie, isn't it?
Wide on entry there. Wow. Yeah. A couple people through the gravel. Not ideal.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. The Congo line. Congo line.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Look at this. Everyone is all together. Chris Lim is at the very tail end. He is the caboose of this 10 car. Get this, 10 car train. Anybody in this 10 car train can win this race.
Yeah, and I'd like to note we're following along with Chris Lim here, who's leading, put it on pole in the last race. So definitely,
Leading. No, he's
definitely an increased
caboose.
game. He was in the last race.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Until he was spun, and then let's see if that caboose can make its way forward. As it looks like a battle is heating up for the lead. Andres Navarro leading down into turn 1, but Brian Kieran right on his rear bumper, gonna take it too wide. Can he do another outside move here? And look at all that extra momentum that he can get on the outside. But Andres just gonna keep that nose in there. I'm not gonna let him close the door and complete the move, but it looks like, and it is over for Andres now, but he's going to slot in, see what he can do. It's still got plenty of time in this race to make a move again.
Yeah, you know what? The outside line is definitely my preferred line. Oh, and there goes Trevor. A very aggressive dive has created a little bit of a chain reaction behind him. The aggressive move by Trevor up the inside, it may have taken Blake by surprise. And just a little bit of bump and grinding. Luckily, these cars are quite robust, as we've learned many weeks in a row. And away they still go, able to race without any problems. It is still very much a 10-car train. Isn't that absolutely crazy?
Yeah, and here we go again. It looks like it's going to be Andres on Brian this time, as Brian's going to do a little bit of Alonso weaving. Nothing wrong with that. Now he's going to pick his move. He gets his one defensive move. He's coming down to turn 1. We have Parvinder defending for Blake now. Looks like he was able to get by. Christian Rojas able to just keep it in there next to Blake. Wow, look at that. Everybody's shuffling around. Plenty of excitement happening right now.
Absolutely. I gotta also wonder if Brian, Andres, and Trevor are playing a little bit of a game here. You can see that Parvinder is car number 4 here in our rankings for this race. He is 1.2 to 1.3 seconds away. And if these guys at the very front, as again, Brian, Andres, and Trevor, if they play that game right, they can break that draft and actually just get away from any kind of risk of all of those cars behind. Being a part of the battle that they don't want them to be a part of.
Yeah, and you have some hard charging people. I mean, we had last week, we had Christian Rojas, our hard charger of the week, finding himself now in P5 as we come on board. It looks like he's having a little look up the inside. Ooh, but Blake says no.
And then actually, in the end, he actually makes it. Yep.
Wow.
In the end, he is actually able to get through. So at the very front of the race, we've got Andres. He is challenging up the inside on Brian Curran into turn 1. The outside line has shown a lot of power, but that inside late braking has come through for Andres. He's going to have an advantage with the shorter distance traveled through the next corner. So is Brian going to back out, or is he going to push his way through the whole way? You absolutely can. You have to show a lot of respect and a little bit of stand and a lot of position gain right there, all the way up into P1. Oh, and Andres Navarro, he is now being challenged for P2 from Trevor Houston. This is tense.
Yeah, and they're still side by side through this middle sector here. I have to say this is playing right into Brian's favor as the more time they spend side by side. Look, Brian has now disappeared off of our shot here. Still side by side. Andres is going to take the authoritative move around the outside and try to cut off Trevor from having any more draft as they come into the final corner here. And Parvinder making a move on the inside of Trevor. Wow, look at that. Well done to him. That was a great move. And it's going to allow Andres to just get a little bit ahead of these guys here as they're going to take this inside line. And Andres is saying, come on, Brian, just get off the gas a little bit. Give me more draft. As almost 3 wide into turn 1, Parvinder's going to take that inside line, but And they're mixing it up behind. It doesn't look like Christian is going to be able to get that run around the outside that he was hoping. But, oh, man, everybody's tripped up over each other here.
Oh, and there goes Christian Rojas up the inside on Parvinder. Trevor Houston, you know, he really is watching his teammate run off into the distance. He was right behind him, he is right in front of him, and now he is just nowhere close.
Yeah, that's how quickly everything can change. You know, you just get tangled up in a battle, and suddenly you're losing a second a lap on your teammate here. As Christian Rojas still trying to get that Mazda Miata up the inside of Trevor Houston, and is he going to make it stick through the inside here?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to complete this move. And all of this battling, all it's doing is sucking everyone up into the vacuum. We're going to have a 2x2 through the very final corner. This is going to be a 2x2x2 heading into our start-finish straight. What do you say about that, folks?
Man, this is peak Mazda MX5 racing. Let me tell you, as Trevor's getting a little bit of a cushion here, but it's still everybody's all tied up behind us. Christian Rojas is going to send it down the inside, try to compromise Trevor's line. Trevor able to hang in there around the outside. He should be able to slot in ahead of Christian Rojas here, but look at them. They're bump drafting behind all 6 cars, nose to nose as they come into turn 3 here.
Absolutely.
Somebody's off in the gravel back there. Oh no.
That is Chris Lim.
A
little bit of contact, I think, with Brandon Lynn. And this is just absolutely intense. Oh, a little bit of a spin, a little bit of a lost control for Trevor Houston. And that's put him down just a little bit. Looks like Chris Lim has made a pass on Anaf. So Anaf is now down 4 positions total.
Yeah, we saw him out in the gravel in the hairpin there, so probably just outbraked himself and allowed a couple more cars to get past him. As we're picking up here, Trevor Houston going to try again on the back of Christian Rojas.
Oh, so you can see there is Andres Navarro in 2nd position. There's Brian Kieran, Parvinder, and then a little bit further back there is the pack of Buzzing Bees. Defensive line by Christian Rojas. He is forcing that person behind him to dive the outside line, which is not going to be their advantage in that kind of positioning. And that's actually allowed Franco Aguirre to challenge for the position that Trevor Houston now holds of P5. So remember, folks, this is 11 minutes, 12 minutes in. At 15 minutes will be the end of this race number 2, and the top 8 of these drivers will get the reverse grid.
Yeah, if you thought there was action in this race, just you wait for an 8-car reverse grid
of all of these guys
3 tonight. As we get 2 laps to go now, looks like
2 laps. You math better than me. I thought it'd be 3.
Oh, we'll see. As Andres and Brian safely ahead of the pack now. Franco trying to make a move on Trevor. Trevor just continuing to streak backwards. Oh, who is that off in the... Oh,
that was Parvinder off into the barriers.
In the wall. Oh, what a shame for him. He was having a great race up in P3. Wonder if something happened there. Maybe he had some sort of mechanical issues. He's still sitting there.
Yeah, I definitely wonder if something went wrong for Parvinder on his end, mechanical error, something, anything. And he's just way back now and into the tire barrier. Now, also, when you look, Chris Lim is in P7. So with that reverse grid of the top 8, it's going to put him starting at the very front of the rows. That's going to definitely play into his hands.
Oh, 100%. He'll find himself, maybe I was on the back foot this race, but next race, he'll be back up fighting for P1 like he was in race 1.
Absolutely. Here's the battle with Christian Rojas, Trevor Houston, Blake Carvery, Franco Aguirre, and this looks like it's Chris Lim actually on the tail end of this. He's the new caboose of we got a 5-car pack now. At the very front, I'm going to just check in at the very front. You said 2 laps. I think we got 3 from when you said it. So now it's 2 starting now. Um, Andres Navarro at 1.3 seconds and a little bit of sand from Brian. Actually, oh, it's okay. So this is a white flag lap. Actually has a little bit of a chance maybe to catch up to him. So we're going to check in on that one a little bit later because we have quite a battle. What is going on here? This is this is Christian Rojas on the inside and Trevor Houston on the outside line.
Ooh, Trevor sending a little deep back there, compromising his exit. It's going to allow Christian Rojas to get ahead here, but it's also going to bring Blake Carvery to his outside. As Franco's going to take a look up the inside here. Oh, and they're going to make contact. Is Franco going to... Oh, and he's not. He's going to spin around. A bit of a shame for him.
A very brave move, and it just did not pay off. So the person making the brave move, I guess fortunately, in some crazy world, was the one that spun. But you know what? It's worth the shot. Very final lap. You gets the blood boiling to see that white flag. You got to either send it, risk it for the biscuit. You don't have many chances left, especially on a short 1 minute 20-second track.
Hey, you gotta see what works and what doesn't. So, I can appreciate that and just really send it hard as. Oh, Trevor's way out there, and that's gonna probably seal the deal for Christian Rojas. As we come to the line, Brian Curran's gonna take the win in race number 2 tonight with Andres Navarro in P2, and he's gonna try for that jump. Ooh,
whoa, buddy!
Look at that. Christian Rojas crosses the line P3. Trevor Houston P4. Who do we got? Blake Carvery P5 and Chris Lim P6. Well done to all of our drivers there. That was a fantastic battle all race long. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed calling that one.
Absolutely. So with that said, let's see. I can now go empty with this. Here we go with our... We didn't really talk too much about it yet, but here we are. This is our race 1 results. Trevor Houston won our first race with Brian Curran, Blake Carvery, Andres Navarre, Anaf Sharier in that first race all the way to P5. Parvinder in 6th, Brandon Lynn in 7th. Christian Rojas made it from the back all the way to P8. Jonathan Rodriguez, Vlad Sanchez, Chris Lim. Thanks, don't disappear on me yet. And then Franco Agar in P12 from that first race. Mark Sherman, it was at the very back. So now let's bring up the second race results. Now remember, Franco Agar is fighting for one of the top 3 positions in the entire season. So where he finishes is very, very important. Who else is it that's fighting?
This is going to be a big shakeup as we have, as you mentioned, we have Brandon Lynn who is fighting up there. We have Vlad Sanchez who is only 3 points behind Tom Peters for P2. Bit of a sleeper race from Vlad there, unfortunately. He's not going to do well for his chances, but we still have 1 race to go. Anything could happen, as we have seen in these past 2 races.
Absolutely. And so on our screen here, you can see, I'm not going to actually read them out this time. Sorry, guys, because I have a great conversation topic coming up in about 5 seconds. But there is the race 2 final positions, final resting positions in P8, P7. They're going to be on the front row, sort of that reverse grid. There you go. And I can actually pull that up in a second. But Dan, what would you say is your top 3 key points? I can't pull up the grid yet. What are your top 3 key points for this next race if you were in this race?
If I'm in this race, key point number 1, it's 15 minutes. That might not seem like a lot of time, but as we saw in this last race, a lot of action to come. So very important. Keep your car on all 4 tires, especially through this lap 1. Stay patient. Try not to lose the draft. That would be my number 2. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're spinning or anything like that, and you lose that draft. It's going to be so valuable. And number 3, time your move. This kind of goes hand in hand with patience, but you don't want to do that move in turn 1 on that last lap and give the guy just enough draft to get you back in the hairpin. So really think about where on the track do you want to be ahead and when do you want to be ahead. That's going to be key to keeping yourself it getting the victory lane tonight.
Absolutely. I really do agree. Is choosing exactly when and how to make those moves, which corner, how far back or behind or ahead of everyone is when exactly when you make that move. It's basically like a game of chess out there. I absolutely love it.
Absolutely, it's almost akin to plate racing at Daytona or Talladega. You can't put your car where another car is. That's simple as that. So, if I could add a fourth onto there, stay out of trouble. Just because an incident isn't your fault doesn't mean your race isn't over. So, just keep your head in the game, keep your car in the game, and stay patient and be wise about your moves.
Yeah. I would say you have some overlap. Keep four wheels on the ground.
Yeah,
Here we go, heading into
Green, green,
turn
green.
one. I'm actually going to pull up the time tower as they take off from their starting positions when the lights go out. And we're going to get a great blimp eye view to see who gains and who loses as we head through the very first corner of the very final race. And here we go. There comes the braking zone, the accordion effect. Everyone coming together like a giant slinky. Now, Trevor Houston, if I'm not mistaken, is gaining some positions right there. Blake Carvery is challenging for them back. This is going to be intense.
Oh, and somebody got sent. Is that Brian? Did I see? Oh,
That
that's
was
Trevor, I believe. Oh,
How
wow.
did
I heard the engine brake too. It very well over as we see Brian getting on that curb there, able to keep it all on the track, but that's going to allow Blake Carvery to get ahead.
I don't know. He really went fast into the barriers. I think that something happened.
I think, yeah, and we see Blake Carvery. That's Blake Carvery facing backwards with his bumper off. Oh man.
Blake Carvery went off the track too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Trevor Houston got a little nudge from behind. I think he got helped in that move.
So wait. So this was real quick. This is Blake Carvery going off of the track.
Oh, I think it's the lap one cold tires. Self-inflicted. What a shame for Blake. He was having such a good run.
Later, when we can, we're going to get a look at how did Trevor Houston go off the track. I actually think that there's some sort of computer issue because he did not slow down nothing on the way to the barrier. There goes Parvinder making a pass on Mark Sherman. Panda, 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 panda. Remember that song?
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
yeah. As the Panda car staying ahead of Vlad here, trying to keep up with this huge pack led by Brandon Lynn. Anaf Shariar in P2. He sees himself in victory lane tonight, let me assure you. He wants that, so he's going to try his damnedest to stay up there with them.
Brandon Lynn at the very front of this pack so far, connected all the way down, I would say, to P11 with 2 minutes 50 seconds in. This reverse grid is everything that we would have hoped for.
Absolutely, it's all 5 cars here nose to tail coming into turn 1. Will this be it looks like Chris Lim is gonna say thank you very much on enough, and
there goes Andres as well.
Position. Andres is getting his nose in there. It's a free for all, and unfortunately it looks like Anaf's gotten the short end of the stick as he's now finding himself trying to hang on to P3, and Brian Kieran right behind Andres there, giving a little bump draft as they come through turn 3 here. Everybody's straightening out a little bit. Right behind Brian there, looks like Franco has a nice run. Maybe he's going to do something with it as everybody's setting up for their moves into the hairpin here.
Looks like the defensive line's also coming out real strong. There's Christian Rojas. He is trying to battle back. Let's get a little bit of a closer view now. Franco Agar and Christian Rojas, I think they're going to be battling it out all race long. Two drivers very similarly paced and very similar racecraft from what I can see so far, with the defense and offense, all of that just very well crafted.
That's why we come to MX5 Cup. This is where you learn good racecraft, and it's just a great racing car. It always produces really fun racing, really clean racing, really fair racing. Maybe not clean racing. Maybe I'll retract that. But hey, it's always very exciting around here, I'll say. As Chris Lem looking for that lead on Brandon Lynn. Looks like he is going to get it as he pushes Brandon Lynn a little wide, giving Andres Navarro the run down into turn 3 here.
And that actually brings Chris Lim into the lead with Andres Navarro following on through. Very nicely done. Franco Agar still battling with Christian Rojas, and it looks like a little bit of sand taken on by Christian has now put him at risk with Parvinder and Mark Sherman. Vlad Sanchez also trying to battle it through Panda. Let's go, Panda!
Panda Express is on its way up the field.
Wow.
Lord.
And there is Jonathan Rodriguez. He's up 1 spot total. I think Blake is, he's not far off of this lead car. He is, that is intense. So let's take a look exactly, while we have a quick second, what happened.
Oh. I got a little help there from Andres Navarro. Just unfortunate for that driver. That's not the way he envisioned his race going, especially in the barriers that hard.
And I guess I have to take that back. There definitely was a bumping hand or bumping help to go into the wall at that force. That was just definitely a misread on Andres' part there.
Yeah, that's just wrong place, wrong time. I don't think it's anything that Trevor did wrong. It's just, sometimes guy behind makes a mistake, and unfortunately that's racing sometimes. I'm sure that the stewards might not, might take a little bit more narrow view on an incident like that, but for now we'll let them race as Brandon Lynn trying to hang on to his position. Is that Christian Rojas that he's being attacked by?
Yep, it absolutely is. So the car that he was battling with prior to that was Franco Agar. So, back to the key points that you brought up is pick your timing on your passes. I think Christian has been aggressive, and it's funny, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back is what we're seeing.
Yeah, exactly. It's great you can get ahead, but you got to stay ahead, and staying ahead is 75% of the battle, especially on these draft tracks like Summit Point.
You can get ahead. Yeah, you can get ahead, but you don't stay ahead.
Yeah. As looks like that battling is going to take them just off the sniffing distance of draft here from Franco. So Christian Rojas probably driving like his life depends on it, trying to get that draft back up to those drivers up there.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 seconds is quite a bit of naff going on. Oh, there's...
Oh, we had a car perpendicular to the racing line. Oh, and we're all tangled up with Christian Rojas and Jonathan Rodriguez perpendicular to each other. That is going to be both races done there, as Christian's going to take a tow.
So let's just take a quick look exactly what happened. I think Anaf loses control. Let's find out. He gets spooked from poking of the nose from Franco Agar, and there's just absolutely nothing you can do when you come around the corner. Oh, he tried. Let's be honest. He tried.
Yeah. He did everything he was supposed to do. Hold your brakes. Don't move. Don't try to reverse. Just the best thing you can do in that situation is hold your brakes and hopefully nobody hits you. That's one of those things. Sometimes you can do everything right and everything will still go wrong. But props to Props to an off there for not making the situation worse by trying to reverse or go forward there.
Absolutely. And the second view that I gave with the blimp view just shows how close everyone was and how there really wasn't much room for margin for error, which is absolutely what you want when you're in a race. But when there's a car in front of you that you gotta avoid, it is your worst nightmare. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's nothing,
Nothing
you know,
worse.
there's nothing worse, especially, sometimes incidents happen. It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault, but, that's racing sometimes.
Oh, it looks like Chris Lim using all of the track, putting his tires just a tiny bit on the grass before turning in, which you look at that, using every bit of it that he possibly can.
All $14.95 of this track. Oh, actually, I lied because this track is included in your subscription. So, all $0 for this track, pay for the subscription price.
Here goes Parvinder up the inside into turn one on Mark Sherman. Panda, is he going to get the outside line, the outside drive? And the shorter distance has prevailed.
Yeah, and great drive from Mark this race. Running P6, just got passed for P5, but hey, he's not taking any of these passes lying down as he's getting right back up onto Parvinder's rear bumper, and that's going to bring Vlad Sanchez into the picture, who is gunning for that P2 spot in the championship. Let's see if Vlad will put it up the inside here. He does. Just barely stints the nose in, but they're going to stay side by side as Mark Sherman is going to be a little gracious, give Vlad a break there, literally. But they'll still stay side by side through this middle sector. And Brandon Lynn says, "Oh, thank you very much. Looks like you're giving out positions here today, buddy." He makes his move around the outside.
I think Mark Sherman's been a little bit too much panda here in this moment.
Maybe a little too friendly. Maybe he needs to get his elbows out a little bit more. But still, well done to him. Everybody's staying pointed straight.
Honestly, Mark Sherman has had a really, really great drive in this third and final race. So hats off to Mark Sherman. At the very front of the race, we got Chris Lim, Andres Navarro, and Brian Curran all within striking range of each other. So, you know what? With, what is this, 3 laps left? Anybody's guess how this will go.
Yeah, it looks like Brian back there driving the wheels off that thing, putting it in the gravel. But all 3 drivers here, very, very quick drivers. So it's definitely a mega battle to the end. As we see, Brian has that purple lap time.
Not by much.
Not by much, but maybe he'll be thinking about making that move into turn 1 on Andres and chasing down Chris for the win.
So here is the last lap time that they just ran. I don't know if you can read that off of your monitor or not, but
Still looks like Brian, he's solidly in those 20s.
So does that mean he's gonna? Yep. Does he make that move?
In the draft coming down the straight here, it's gonna be 2 laps to go at the line, I believe. Brian showing the nose and shoving it in there. Oh, running Andres out wide, but beats him to the apex. So I think that's a fair pass. Well done to Brian there. But this is going to invite Andres to stick on the back here. Maybe he can make a move up into that hairpin coming up.
Yeah, well, we don't necessarily follow he beat him to the apex, so he has the line. Not necessarily. We just say as long as there's appropriate respect and space given, that's really what we're looking for mostly.
Yeah, I think it was on the edge of respectful there, as he kind of got used up on the exit, but
absolutely,
it was an aggressive move, but it was fair at the same time.
Absolutely, both drivers really trying to drive that exit hard, and I think through both of them doing that, ended up perfectly side by side. Beautiful, beautiful racing, and just trying to maximize their exits is just Brian Curran able to do that just a little bit better. on that pass. What do you say?
Yeah, and as we come down, it looks like, is that going to be white flag this time? I believe it is.
Yep.
Um, Brian is just a little bit back from Chris as that battling kind of allowed him to stretch the gap just enough. I think Chris might be safe here. Brian is going to need a mega lap to close it out.
I think that he can get right up to the rear bumper of Chris Lim. I don't think he's going to be able to make that pass. Just absolutely no way. That is my initial thoughts. We're going to take a look at Vlad Sanchez, Mark Sherman. Is Panda Man going to want that position back?
Yeah, I think Panda Man wants that position back. He's weaving in and out. He's in Vlad's mirrors. He's getting in Vlad's head. Let's see what happens down to the hairpin here. Vlad's going to take a defensive line. Smart move, covering off Mark there, who is going to try to set this car up. Maybe I can find my way around in this middle sector.
But as this is now the final lap, we're going to head to our leader of this race. This is Chris Lim now coming through the very final corner of this race. In the very final race, he's now won this race. Congratulations, Chris Lim, for... Wait, what?
What is this? Is that Chris Lim pulling over and giving the win to Brian Curran?
Did he not know where the finish line is?
Do my eyes deceive me, Michael? I think we
What?
just witnessed a huge upset.
We just got swindled or something.
Yeah, I
Like,
think I'd like a refund.
I think I'd like a refund.
No,
What?
no. What happened? We'll have to
What?
figure out what exactly happened there. Is Chris Lim unfortunately not taking victory here after leading pretty much this whole race? He's going to end up in P4 behind Franco Aguirre, who's going to solidify P3. Might be enough for him to solidify P2 in the championship. I don't know. We'll have to look into that one after the race here, as Brian Curran is our winner. He has won, I believe that is, he's won race 2 and 3 this evening.
Brian Kieran, I can actually pull it up right now if you want to see. So here is the last race. So, okay, real quick. Race number 1, that was Trevor Houston. Race number 2, Brian Kieran. And now race number 3, here you go, Brian Kieran.
Brian
So
Curran. The teammates both dominating here at Summit Point. Maybe not dominating, but taking victories across the board. They gotta feel good about that one.
absolutely. Feel bad about what happened with Trevor in that very first bit, but sometimes you just gotta roll with it and let water roll down your back. Ain't that right?
It's fortunately he didn't physically roll. But yeah, that was tough to watch, especially from Andres on board there. Just a hair too late on the brakes, and off he went straight into the barrier. Complete passenger. I mean, that's one of the fastest. That is the fastest turn on the track, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Almost flat out in this MX5.
Actually, I think the last corner is the fastest corner.
Oh, you might be right on that.
So there we have it. Our very final race. Brian Curran, P1. Andres Navarre in P2. Franco Aguirre in P3. So Franco, he definitely did not have a lot of luck in those first 2 races. Finally able to pull it together and come out of the bush, come out of hiding, and end up on the podium in the very final race. Chris Lim, I hear in the Twitch chat that he just pulled over to allow some of the people who are racing for contention to pass on by. Okay. Parvinder in P5, Brandon Lynn in P6, Vlad Sanchez in 7, Mark Sherman. Man had a great race this time around. He's up a few spots, if I'm not mistaken. He ended up in P8. Blake Carvery, just the unfortunate, I think he was involved in that unfortunate self spin. Anaf, he had quite a self spin involved in the later more collisions after that. Christian Rojas, Jonathan Rodriguez, also involved in bumping into the spun car of Anaf. Just how it goes. You all saw that replay earlier. So
Yeah.
yeah, final thoughts. Looking back at the three key points that you brought up, and then looking at that race, what do you think?
I'm thinking maybe some of these guys towards the bottom of this list aren't listening to me, Michael. I'm not sure what's going on here. As this is definitely the most chaotic of three races this evening. Brilliantly entertaining, but lot more bumping than we saw in the previous two.
That's funny that you say that. Absolutely, but that's just the MX5. It really brings out the best of the racing. Luckily, there are a lot of times that you can bump bruise and just run away with you know almost no worse for the wear. These cars being quite robust, and unfortunately, in other times you can't. You just have to hope that any time that there is contact, it's the former, not the latter. But yeah, I think with that, I think that will be the end of our show.
Oh, actually, I have one special shout out. We have I just want to shout out that Mark Sherman, our Panda Man, with his P8 finish this evening, was able to secure the amateur championship. Well done to him. He is the season champion in the amateur division.
Awesome. Congratulations to Mark Sherman. And we're going to have to take a look at our standings, see how they calculate out for the other two final positions in the Pro Division. So look out for our standings championship in the near coming hours, actually, after this video goes out. And um, I'm sure by the time you guys watch this on YouTube, it'll all be out. And with that, I'd like to say have a good evening, have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. And I'll see you guys all next season. Look for and remember MX5 and GR86 next season. So yeah, final round. I'll see you guys all hopefully next week or in 2 weeks. Yeah.